Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, March 30th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple clarifications. First off, this price you see over here is going to be changing, and then the candlestick you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, SIVBQ. So yes, they're bankrupt whenever you get the Q on them. But the thing is, and for those of you longtime veterans who remembers WAMUQ from back during the 2008 fiasco, that thing went bonkers. So I'm having some flashbacks of that. But yeah, you're seeing that right. This thing was down here around 20 cents. Now this thing is up over $1. So is this the start of something bigger? Worth at least keeping an eye on. Good solid pattern here has formed. So this is going to be the level that you got to think a lot of people are watching. Key breakout area right there around $1.20. And the reason I have it squeezed down here is because you can see it was up over, in the $100 range, but then it opened up all the way down here at like 50 cents. So obviously you can't see anything, which is why I have to move the chart all the way like that. And you can see things better. But moving forward, $1.20 going to be a key area of resistance. And then as far as supports are concerned, you have that level right there. So let me change that to green to represent more support area of the pattern. And then maybe make this easier. Let's just keep it all one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big explosion right there. We have the golf hole down there. And this would be a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price can come up here and get a break up through the top part of that pattern, that break could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible outcome. So if you like this sort of price range, you like volatility, you like high volume, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, BRDS. Huge move today, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that have watched past videos. But if you have, hopefully remember me talking about that red line resistance right there, because it did actually play a critical role today based on just foundational rules in charting. The main rule being that when levels of resistance are broken, they tend to act as support. So with the gap up this morning, the price gapped up over 21 cents, which would mean you would expect this to act as support. And you can't make this stuff up. Power of charts, price came down here, and what a coincidence. Look right where it decided to bounce, right off that former area of resistance, acted as a support, and then that's where the big move came. So for any of you that bought that pullback right there at 21 cents, a big congratulations to you. You got a fantastic move. But moving forward now, 21 cents is going to be that newest area of support. In terms of areas of resistance, main general area I would say is right up there at that 29 cent mark. It's not exact, but broadly speaking, whenever the price got right up around that general area, you can see that the momentum just struggled to maintain itself, let alone increase. So if the price does come back up there, then 29 cents is going to be that key area of resistance. But again, if you like to play more so pullbacks, then down there at 21 cents is that main area. From a pattern standpoint, this will be very crude, but it'll get the point across. So the price has pulled back, sure, but before that, you had this big surge like that. So what you'd have here is a bull flag pattern. So if you like penny stocks, you like bull flags, keep an eye on it. Next one here, TRKA, and this was an absolute monster this afternoon. So you can see down here, basically nothing was going on. Very, very minimal volume, and now the volume is pouring in. And as I speak, watching that number, the volume number, you can see that number changing very rapidly because there's more and more volume that is coming in. And really, that's the key dynamic here is, I suppose there's a breakout point, but you have to remember the idea of a watch list is to find unique, to find interesting situations, not randomly rush out and buy anything, but to watch it. And I would certainly call a situation where nothing's been going on and then kaboom, volume, kaboom, price action as a unique, as an interesting situation, especially if you do like penny stocks. Now, from a technical point of view, like I said, not a whole lot to point out other than just kind of the craziness of it. But from a breakout standpoint, 33 cents looks like it's got some interest. If you do like to play more so pullbacks, then that pink line down there, 200 period moving average could come into play right around that 23 cent mark. So that would be an interesting potential pullback area. But at the core, what I'm just trying to convey is, if you like penny stocks, that all of a sudden kind of wake up and explode, certainly keep an eye on this one. Next one here, TORO, and this one caught me off guard because last I was looking at it, it did not look like this, but this is why I like to do these when the market's open, because check this out. As I speak, this last 30 minutes, what a train wreck as this thing pushes down at these lows. which has completely changed things around. So what was looking like maybe some sort of, little bullish pullback now becomes, because this is a pretty ugly looking chart at this point in time, but you longer time viewers, you've heard me say it before, there can be opportunity in the ugly. So my question is now, transition to, can this ugliness get down to that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, right now valued at $1.69. And is, do you get a bounce from that area, which is very plausible, but that's not a guarantee. There are no guarantees. But my point here is, assuming you can manage risk, assuming you'll be disciplined on your stop losses, then relative to what's being risked, if the move does come down here and you get a bounce off that level, it's not like you need even a huge bounce in order to make the trade plan work. But again, that's all built upon the premise that you're going to be disciplined and you're going to honor those stop losses. So if you like to play these situations where things are looking very, very ugly, where it seems like the wheels have completely fallen off, then yeah, that purple line down there, the 50-period moving average, creates a very interesting risk-reward scenario. Next one, AMC. Overall, just a fine day, nothing too exciting, but was not a train wreck or anything like that, as it's just essentially doing some consolidating right now. And the big thing here that you got to always watch for these that make big movements like this is, okay, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that have more experience, but I'm sure you've seen stocks or whatever make big moves like that, and then all of a sudden, right back the price goes. Like I said, be around long enough, you'll see that multiple times. But that wasn't the case here. Sure, there was a pullback, and that's where the question mark always comes into play is, is this going to be one of these situations where the price just continues to drop? And we now have our answer. No, it wasn't. It started to go sideways. Now, does that mean that it can't continue to drop? Of course not. But does that build up some confidence? Does that build up some evidence that maybe this pullback is finally over? Absolutely. So that's where I'm going to go ahead and adjust this area of new support up there to the 485 mark. In terms of areas of resistance, yes, you still have that overarching level up there, but in a more of a near-term sense, key level to keep a close eye on, going to be right there at the 503 mark. So keep an eye on that. But like I said, overall, assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, assuming you're not some sort of day trader that bought right there and wanted to buy and sell within 7 minutes, assuming that's not you, then overall, good to see that the price has gone sideways after the pullback. So we'll see if this thing can curl back upwards. Real quick, wanted to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency, to manage risk, then certainly get signed up for this free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, BOIL, and let me get this let's get this pattern into play here. So we have that part of the pattern, and then we have that part of it. And this is what I would refer to as a falling wedge. Now, that may sound like a bearish pattern, but actually a falling wedge is a bullish pattern, whereas a rising wedge is a bearish pattern. But just because something's bullish does not mean the price is for sure going to go up. Just because something is a bearish pattern doesn't mean that it'll go down. But if you do like to play falling wedge patterns, then to me, this one fits the bill pretty darn close. So no guarantees, but is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price can get a push up through that resistance, that could create a very worthwhile move back in the upward direction? Now, am I saying a full-blown reversal where it goes back up to $7? I'm not making that claim. But again, relative to what is being risked, assuming you are being disciplined, then yeah, you could be looking at a good, solid overall pattern breakout here. So if you like something, or if you like playing stocks down below $10, you like falling wedge patterns, keep an eye on it. Next one, MULN, and finally, it's shown some signs of strength, so much so that it's actually gotten back up above this 10-cent mark, which is a good step in the right direction and is now going to be a very, very important level moving forward. And why is 10 cents so important? And I'm not saying this will occur, but think about it. If the price were to come down here and break down below 10 cents, what is that doing to the price? That would quite literally be putting the price right back inside of the middle of this sideways channel that it was just in. And not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine power or true strength. But to be fair, nothing goes straight up. So maybe the price comes down here, but the difference being goes sideways and then goes back upwards. Now, what would you have in this situation? Well, all of a sudden, you'd have a set of lows right there. You'd have these lows down there. If you envision those as stair steps, you now have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. And that's what a genuine strong move is going to do. Nothing goes straight up, but it is going to show signs of progress by building these stair steps. And again, in this situation, the quote unquote sign of progress is staying up above that 10-cent mark. So let's see if it can get that job done or not moving forward. Next one here, NIO, and overall a good solid pattern. So we have one of these situations where this is not some sort of, I don't want to come across like it's a fancy skill on my part or a great discovery. I assure you a lot of people have taken notice of this pattern, and lots of people are watching the same patterns, wondering the same thing. Self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. They can produce some very dynamic movement. So a lot of people are going to be watching this 995 mark, which is the top part of that pattern. Then you also got to think a lot of people have drawn this area right across the bottom there, like so, to map out this little bottom area of support. So put that into play, and then real quickly, as I've done in the past, might get the same color. So resistance, support, big upwards move right there, golf hole down there. So bull pennant, bull flag, whatever you want to talk about. But the point here being, you got to think that a lot of people have noticed this pattern. So whether or not you want to play some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy or another angle, the fact of the matter is this was good movement today, good volume. So let's see what happens with it on Thursday. Next one, TSLA Tesla. And this will mean more to those of you that have watched past videos. But if you haven't, then I've talked about this level of resistance being the near-term one with, yes, this $200 mark being more the overarching one, but the most relevant one being this level here, which you can see showed its relevance once again this morning, rejected the price came up, rejected it back down. However, and this is where things get exciting because we get to ask a very entertaining question, but you can see the price is now actually up through that trend line, which means we get to ask that question, is this the start of something bigger? Now think about that question. You don't get to ask that question if nothing worthwhile happens, right? Because this thing never broke out, you couldn't say, hey, is this the start of something bigger? Because, well, nothing broke. But in this situation, the trend line has been broken. So yes, is this going to pick up more momentum? To be fair, maybe not. Maybe this thing just rolls right back over. But that is a two-sided coin because, well, maybe it is. And maybe this thing all of a sudden starts ripping and roaring in the upwards direction. So like I said, very interesting dynamic here. Trend line is broken. Is this the start of something bigger? We'll see what happens. As far as supports are concerned, yes, you still have the overarching level down here, but in the near term, you have that purple line there, 50-period moving average where the price beautifully bounced off it right there, currently valued at 190.75. But yes, that trend line has been broken. Let's see if this is the start of a new surge of momentum. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe that the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. Big difference is this just allows you access at a much lower price point. And overall today, good solid move on this one, gap up. It held its gains and then late day got a new breakout from there. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this level up here because this is now going to be that former area of resistance. Just to illustrate right there, you can see stubbed, was bumping its head on it and then finally got the break right there. So this 26.05 mark, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So that'll be the near-term area of support moving forward. And then as far as the next key overarching level of resistance, let me squeeze this down to offer up more context. You can see it's starting to push up towards these highs once again. But next key general level to watch, at least in my opinion, going to be right up there at 26.75. So overall, very nice day today for the NASDAQ and for their, by default TQQQ. And now it's just a question of, can this momentum carry it up to that 26.75 mark? That seems very, very realistic. It seems like the market's starting to get its footing on it again, and good to see a gap up and the gap up not, fail or anything like that. So yeah, headed into Thursday, looking like it's got some good momentum. So we'll see what happens. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live online class. It'll be Thursday, March 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment below. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. Tell me what you traded today. Those two things communicate to me that you enjoy. And as long as I know that you as a viewer are enjoying, I will continue to put in the required time and effort to get this content out to you. So like I said, hitting the like button, leaving a comment really does go a long way. So get signed up for that class. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.